I am gonna. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Hi, Maya. I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Very nice to see you as always. Um, Today, actually, we're here to talk about something really cool that you invented recently, that you shared on social media, and there was a lot of buzz around it. It's the sentencing tool or sentencing calculator tool that you created, which is actually going to be very helpful for a lot of lawyers. I'll let you explain what it is, why you created this, and then maybe you can walk us through how to use this tool.
Sure. Thank you. And I really appreciate the opportunity to come on your show and to share a bit about this neat little tool with more folks. So it's a sentencing calculator. I initially called it the pretrial custody calculator. That's what I
Mhm.
was like. That's how it was mocked up when I was starting to put it together.
Yeah.
And it sort of emerged because there's a great deal of math that ends up happening in most sentencing proceedings where you're faced with a calculation of not just the ultimate sentence, but
Right.
also what credits ought to be afforded against that sentence. And the credits can be, a Summers credit, which is almost always 1.5 for 1,
Hmm.
or a Duncan credit, which is
Yeah.
sort of often expressed. I mean, it can be expressed in a as just one factor in the balance that doesn't
Hmm.
need numerical quantification, but there are a lot of judges who prefer
Yeah.
giving it numerical quantification. And so, of course, that's not every single day in jail. It's for harsh conditions of pretrial custody. And so you need to figure out sort of how many days are there that you qualify for. And once you've identified that number of days, what credit should be given for them. And then, of course, there's Downs credit, that time credit for time
Hmm.
spent on pretrial custody. And then there are some cases where a defendant might have been in and out of custody in the months or years that precede the sentence. So all of that can make for a pretty intimidating kind of mathematical problem. And my thought with this was, this is all solvable with a tool. And if I
Yes.
build something that can account for all these sort of different variations, then not only can practitioners sort of get ready for hearings in a way that will help them best articulate to the judge why they say the defendant should or should not be given a particular credit. But judges themselves can also use the tool to be able to tell what credit they're assigning for which periods. So that's the purpose that I built it for. I mean, to be completely candid, I'm a defense lawyer, and there's a lot of time where defense lawyers are trying to sort out sort of the end goal, which is to get their client out as quickly as
Yeah.
possible. How do I get my client to time served? Like, what credit do I need to be able to make a pitch
Hmm.
for? And so this tool will help the defense lawyer to know very quickly, they've been in for 3 years, 1 year of that's harsh credit, and here's the quantification of credit I need to get my client to like a final sentence of X, which is whatever the fit sentence is that would get them
Yeah.
out. So that's sort of why I built it and what it's for.
All right. So, where can they find this tool for people who are looking for it and who want to use it? Where can they find it, Chris?
Well, that's a very important question. Why don't
Mhm.
I share a screen and I can show you?
Yes, of course.
So this is our website,
Hmm.
rudnickilaw.com. At the top, there's a resources tab. And so you can just hover over that and it comes up with the various resources that
All
I've put
right.
together over the
So I
years.
see
And then
sentencing
there,
calculator.
exactly, is the sentencing calculator. And then for your listeners, if they want to go right there, it's just rudnickilaw.com slash
Right.
sentencing dash calculator.
Yes, as we can see here. Okay. So maybe while we're here on the page, if you can just walk us through this and explain how we can use this tool.
Yeah, so the tool is coded in this little box in the center of the page where
Hmm.
it starts with sentence and calculator. There's a bit of throat clearing we do up front to sort of explain what the tool is for, maybe to link to some of the cases if anyone wants to go and look at, Summers, Duncan, or Downs for the
Well,
initial
and
sort of.
also a very important thing, it is a free web tool. So for everyone who doesn't know yet, like it's free, you can use it. So it's very nice and generous of you, actually, Chris, to be sharing this with the profession.
My
Um,
pleasure. It is free now, and it will always be free. So,
okay.
you can quote me on that.
And this video is free, so you can learn how to use it for free as well.
Exactly. Okay, why don't we dive into it? So this is the sentencing calculator here. It begins with assigning credit for pretrial custody periods. So let's say your client was arrested in January of 2025. You can click on the start date here and then just go back using these little tools, the left and right arrows, and find January 2025. And let's say they were arrested on January
Right.
1st. You click it right there. And then let's say they've been in custody the whole time, and the sentencing is coming up on Monday. Monday is the 27th of Jan or the 26th of January, so
Hmm.
we click that right there, and automatically the tool is now going to calculate the actual number of days in custody. So
Okay.
that is 391 days from
Hmm.
January the 1st of 2025 to January the 26th of 2025. Another important thing about the tool to know is that it calculates the dates inclusive. So it includes both the start date and the end date in its
Okay.
calculation, and that's because a defendant is entitled to credit for the day they're arrested and for the
That's
day that
correct.
they're to be
The last
sentenced
day
in
that,
jail.
yeah.
Exactly. So first things first, the tool is going to calculate
The total time that the person has been in
yeah,
custody.
the actual number of days, one for one. And then automatically it's going to assign a summer's credit for that. And that's right here, right below. And it's 587 days. And it tells you how it's calculating that. It says 391 times 1.5 to 1.
Hmm.
Now, if your client has spent some portion or all of that as harsh Duncan days, you can optionally toggle Duncan credit here on the side.
Hmm.
So let's say your client spent 100 days that were harsh in custody. Then, for every period of pretrial custody you're entering, it's going to automatically open up this little box, which would then say, well, how much credit do you want for those Duncan days? Because Duncan credit is discretionary. It's up to the
Hmm.
trial judge to say how much credit you should
Right.
get for harsh conditions, depending on exactly how harsh the conditions were, depending on how they impacted the defendant, because some defendants are more vulnerable than others and might experience a worse time in jail as a result, health issues, mental health, etc. So you can toggle here what the credit should be. It starts as a default of zero point 0.5 for one. So you get half a day of credit for every extraordinarily harsh day, every Duncan day. But you can toggle that up or down as the case may be. Again, to account for the harshness of those conditions. So you might
Yeah.
say they were harsh, but it was sort of there was still a lot of access to yards, still phone calls, like that kind of thing. And you might say that's only worth zero point 0.3 for one. Or you might say it was kind of like, maybe it was actually solitary confinement, which our courts have said amounts to torture. You might say that's actually worth like one for one.
Yeah.
And so whatever credit you get, you give it. The tool is going to automatically calculate how much that comes to. So it's going to say, okay, you've got 100 Duncan days. We're going to multiply that by the number of by the ratio you've given me, and that's the balance left there. And then it's going to add that to your Summers credit here. And
Okay.
so you can see it's already said there's your total Summers days and there's your total Duncan credit. And then if you scroll down to the end of the tool, there's a credit summary here. And the credit summary will say, here's all your grossed up days, and here's what they
It
amount to
breaks
as
it
total
down
credit.
into the different categories.
Precisely. So you can see here 391 days of
Hmm.
actual jail time. Summers credit is at 1.5 for one is 587 days, and 50 days of Duncan credit at the ratio we've assigned. And that's going to give us a total of 637 days credit for this gentleman, all without you having to do a single
Right.
number of math.
Yeah, which is very good because I mean, I'm expecting there are a lot of floors. I can speak for myself. I personally don't like math and
Mhm.
I don't like numbers. So to know that there's a tool that can do all the math for me is actually such a relief. So that's really
Yeah,
great.
it's meant to be quite simple. Really, you just need the number of like you need to know the day your client went in, the day
Right.
the client is either came out or is expecting to come
Anticipated.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or expected to be sentenced, right? Because like that would also be the end point of the
Right.
process. So the other thing the tool can do is that you can add multiple periods. So if your client was
Okay.
in, let's say, only through to September, let's say September 1st of last year, and so let's say it's only 50 Duncan days there, and your client then was out on bail and then got
Okay.
rearrested on the New Year, let's say New Year's Day, he got rearrested. So then we're going to click that button that says add another custody
Hmm.
period. And we're going to say, all right, so he was in on New Year's Day, January 1st, and he's going to be sentenced, as we said, on Monday, the 26th. So now you have a second uh,
That's really
custody
cool.
period.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, the tool will automatically calculate the summer's credit. You can also add in Duncan days. Let's say that, 10 of those were harsh. And you can toggle different credits, like different Duncan credits for those different periods, depending on, again, the harshness of the conditions.
Wow. Okay.
Another
That's
neat feature the tool does is if
hmm
you're messing around here and you're perhaps getting a little carried away and you say you do an overlap of the periods, the tool will warn you. So you see how here I've clicked on a start date in August that is before the end date for custody period number one. The tool is now telling us, hey, wait on a second. You've got overlapping dates here. That's not physically possible. You got to fix
Yeah.
it. So you're going
Yeah.
to get a warning if that
Okay.
happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back here and let's put our second custody date at January 1st. So we have the two custody dates. We have the first one from January 1st of 25 until September 1st of 25, and we have the second one of January 1st of 26
Hmm.
until our anticipated sentencing date, which is the 26th of this month, so this coming Monday. Now, in between, let's say our client was on bail and they were on house arrest, pretty strict conditions.
Yes.
We can add a period for Downs credit right here. Again, this is an optional toggle, so you have to click the
Okay.
enable button. But if you do so, then now we have the opportunity to say, let's say, so again, we our client came out in September. I think we said September 1st, and they went back in January 1st, New Year's Day. So there you go. Uh, Automatically, the tool is going to say, "Here's how much time that was worth." And again, you can mess around with the downs credit. It starts at 20%, which is about the going rate in the case law for harsh conditions. But if your client was under extraordinarily harsh conditions, you can say 25. Or if they were very light, you can say perhaps 10. And the tool is going to automatically calculate what credit that gives your client at the end of the day. And if we scroll down to our breakdown here, our credit summary, we've added in Duncan days. So
Hmm.
the credit summary will break it down, as you've said. Each period you input, it'll summarize, it'll calculate, it'll tell you exactly how much credit your client's getting, and then it will total it at the very end of the tool. Um,
Wow.
Another quick note is that sometimes when you're calculating either Downs or Duncan credit, you get a fraction, right? Like this is 12 days. Here we see this on the screen, 12 days of Downs credit, which is 123 days times 10%. But the tool will tell you we're rounding it down here. So
Okay.
there's no question of like, your client getting like too much credit or not enough credit because the tool will say, you know, we've rounded up or we've rounded down, and here's the original number, just so there's full sort of transparency on it.
Nice.
So that's how the tool basically works in a nutshell. It will calculate all of these different periods and it will add them up automatically for you. And it will do so in a way that is totally transparent about the math. So you can always see, exactly
And
what
you can
credit your
print
client is
that,
getting.
right? Like if you can print that and take it to court and show, like if you don't want to do it online, like in courts, like you can have that based on, I mean, hopefully this will become, honestly, Chris, like a tool that is recognized by the courts because it's really very, it's simple as you've explained. It's very easy to use. You just need to know your dates. You enter that and it does all the calculations. It gives you all the breakdowns. So that's really very good. And everything is really clear. And you can adjust it to your case. So the credits that you think apply to your case, you can activate that. Those that don't, you don't need to touch. So it's really, really cool. That's really
Yeah,
very nice.
I'm grateful that you think so. I mean, the tool is really intended for kind of every justice system participant.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just defense lawyers who might
Crowns,
find this useful.
crowns if they're
Yeah,
dealing with a
exactly.
self-rep and the judge is asking them, well, how long has this person been in custody? The crowns may also need to use that in some situations. So
Yeah, yeah,
even if
I totally agree.
even when we were trying to, let's say, negotiate resolution and we want to know, well, how many days do we have? And we want to talk to the crown. Well, this is, what we're looking at. So that's also very, very useful. So it takes into account all the types of situations that can occur, the harsh conditions, the bail, whether it's on bail or in custody. And it's really very simple. It's very nice that you actually showed us how to use that and a reminder that we can also check on like the boxes that apply and that we want to also calculate. I think you also mentioned that it's not just for pre-trial custody. I mean, when we were chatting before we started recording, that there's also parole that is taken into account in this.
Yes, so the next thing you can do once you've
Mm-hmm.
got your credit here is that you can say, all right, well, let's figure out how much time is left to serve.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have 447 days here. Let's say it's a 2-year sentence. This is maybe this is um, a low-level aggravated assault or perhaps a first offender firearm in sort of highly mitigating circumstances, like
Yeah.
something like that, that might
Yeah.
attract a 2-year sentence. And so here, the calculator tool, once you say it's a 2-year sentence, is going to give you the original sentence, which is 730 days, the credit applied, which is
Mm-hmm.
from the credit summary that
Calculate. Yeah.
we just went through, and then it'll give you a time remaining to be served. So 283 days or 9 months and 13 days in the case of this particular
Nice.
client.
Yeah.
And one tool that might be helpful, I think, more for judges and crowns. Defense lawyers, in my experience, tend to be more focused on like the global sentence and
Yeah.
less on like how it breaks down by the counts.
Yeah.
But judges and crowns, at the end of the day, have to break it down by the counts. And so this tool will allow you to also do that. So you can click the enable button on the right
Okay.
there,
Yeah.
and you can say,
Nice.
let's say it's a 3 count information.
Yeah.
Count one is going to be 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
Count two is going to be 6 months. It's going to run consecutive. You see there's that little consecutive
Nice.
button over there. And then there's a third count, and we can say that's going to be another 6 months, but it's going to run
And
concurrent.
also yeah, that's the thing. Like it gives you the option here if it's concurrent or consecutive, because that
Precisely.
may, yeah, okay, nice. So it's really
And then it
very adjustable to the case that we're dealing with, very case specific that you can make it.
Yes, it can account for any number, like any number of counts that
Hmm.
you might need to account for. And then so this
And
is a global 2-year sentence, right? 18
yeah,
months plus 6 consecutive plus 6 concurrent. And so we have the exact same breakdown down here, right?
wow.
Um, so that's the way this tool works. And then if you were to go finally down to the
Hmm.
parole and release calculation, you can enable this and find out when the person might actually be released from prison based on the rules in the Corrections and Conditional Release Act. So you click on the enable. It's going to ask you, when does your sentence start? So
Yeah.
again, in our case, the 26th of January.
Yes. Hmm.
And then based on that start date, the system will automatically say, here's when the defendant is eligible for parole, which is always at one
Very
third of the
nice.
sentence.
Yeah.
Here's when they are entitled to parole, statutory release, which is at 2/3 of the sentence. And here's warrant expiry, which is when the sentence will end, the sentence will complete. Now, the important caveat is that there are circumstances in which someone can be paroled a little earlier than 1/3, like day parole or temporary unescorted absences. But for most people, this
Yeah.
is sort of going to be the
And
around when they can expect to apply for release or be guaranteed release.
and this is important when clients ask us this question.
Oh yeah,
Because this is what clients always want to know that, okay, well, if I go into custody, well, when can I expect parole? So you can use that and it will give you the answer and you won't look like a dummy not knowing or trying to do
hopefully.
the calculations because this
Yeah.
will be doing it for you. So that's actually very good. So it really covers kind of almost everything that is related to sentencing and the calculation of sentence, pre-sentence and post sentence or while the person is serving. So that's really neat. Is there anything else as well here that we need to cover, Chris, on the website?
That's pretty much everything. I'll
Okay,
stop sharing
that's a
now.
lot though.
Yeah, it's quick. I tried to make it as comprehensive as I could. We are also always accepting feedback on either bugs that you see or if there's any features you want us to add. So please, if for the listeners, if there's anything along those lines, please send us an email at info@rudnickilaw.com and we'll gladly take a look. But I think it's in pretty good shape right now.
It looks good. It looks like it's working. We tried almost every option and they're all working well. How long did it take for you to build this tool, Chris?
Well, I'd had this in mind for years.
Hmm.
And then sort of over the holidays this year, had some time to actually, try and start to code it. And I said I only have like pretty basic coding skills, so like nothing
Okay.
too fancy. But with the new AI tools that are available, I was
Hmm.
able to sort of teach myself how to do this in
Yeah,
like a week or two.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's very impressive, and I can say it's really a very, very useful tool that's going to be used by everybody. I know I will be using it for sure. I'm going to bookmark this link so that I know where to find it easily. Congratulations. Thank you so much because, I mean, first of all, for taking the time to do this, but also for opening it up to the rest of the profession. It's really very nice and very kind and generous of you to do that. And it's very, like, I really wanted to interview you because I like, to focus on people who are like you, who like to share and to provide. You're always sharing. That's not the only thing that Chris shares, by the way. For those who don't know or who don't follow Chris, Chris is very active on LinkedIn and on social media. He posts a lot about cases, the recent cases, whether it's Ontario Court of Appeal cases or any interesting case, he'll post about and he'll provide his commentary, which is really very useful. And I like to read your analysis. I saw today you posted about Hussein,
Hussein,
the
yes, the Supreme
case
Court
from the
decision on
Supreme
Corbett.
Court,
Yeah.
which is really very important. So, honestly, Chris is someone that I encourage everyone to follow on social media if you don't already follow him, because you will learn a lot. He's very experienced. His analysis is always on point. I agree with most of everything almost. I don't think I've seen in or anything that I disagree with, like with your analysis, legal analysis and commentary. So follow Chris. If you are not aware of this tool, I hope you watch this interview. We'll explain, break it down, how to use it. It's very simple. And again, congratulations, Chris, on this wonderful tool. And thank you for taking the time to appear on my show to explain that to the audience. And I hope, well, that's going to bring a lot of traffic to your website. I hope it won't crash because I'm sure a lot of people are going to be using it. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to look at my hosting. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm just really glad that people find it useful. Honestly, like I created it because I just saw so many lawyers and I myself struggled
Yeah.
with like, all this math that we ended up having to do. And I thought there must be an easy fix for this.
Yeah.
And this is my attempt at that.
Well, it's an excellent attempt, and I'm sure it's already very much appreciated by a lot of our members. And it's a tool that is available to everyone. Like there's no restriction, right? Anyone can go
Nope.
and use it. So even
Yeah.
if you're a crown judge, probation officer, anyone can use this. Thank you so much, Chris. And thank you for appearing on Law Break. And I hope to chat with you again soon on maybe another invention or another case or an appeal that you will win. So thank you again very much.
I'll stay cooking. All right. Take care.
Bye.